Series of 5 thought experiments. Okay, so I'm going to pose a question to you, and then you guys are going to answer the thought experiments. Only 2 rules here. One is that everybody talks, and then number 2 is that try to keep your comments pretty short, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You will hear each other's thoughts, and you'll be able to then modify your own perspectives. Here is the first thought experiment for you. If you had access to an algorithm that could give you the best physical and mental and spiritual health of your life, but in exchange for the access, you did what the algorithm said. You went to bed when it said, you ate what it said, and you exercised in the way that it prescribed. Would you say yes or no to this? And again, there's no correct answer. This is entirely your choice. Would you say yes or no?
I would say yes. I'd go all in because I do that. I've been doing that for different things that I've tried with health.
I think yes is good. Just knowing that if you're in a constant experimental phase, that it either works or it doesn't, and then you take the best from that and move on.
Yeah. So yes and yes. So you yes because you think you're already doing. This is like what you're trying to do already.
Yes.
Anthony, it aligns with your idea of the world that natural self-improvement. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's an experimental evolution of it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be worried if it wasn't an experiment, because then it seems like it's dogmatic instead of it's just being placed and I just do it blindly, you know? I think if there is that level of curiosity and experimentation within it, I think I'd be more willing to do it, but to allow data to drive my decisions. Yeah.
So you're convinced based upon Anthony's argument. Let me clarify. You don't know what the algorithm does. You don't know what's going to happen in your life. And you also don't know a lot of the details of will you have access to the data? All you know is
you have to follow the algorithm.
Yeah, you say this is the best physical, mental, and spiritual health of my life, but outside of that, you don't know any of the details on what actually happens in your life.
Quick question. Are you allowed to try this algorithm and then stop it?
No, it's either in or out.
Oh, okay. Well, that might change things.
Yeah. See, based on that, I would say no.
Okay, you say no, all right.
And the reason why is because I think my passion in life, it's like surfing, mountain biking, skiing, being with friends, community. And if that was the sacrifice, if I couldn't engage in a lot of those things because I had to follow this protocol, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of lifespan because there's a certain way that I'm dedicated to living my life. And I want to live it that way while trying to be the healthiest I can be, but not to the sacrifice of not having the life that I desire to have.
Yeah. Okay, so you have a model of the world of how you want to live and the trade-offs you want to make. And this algorithm creates a potential compromise or threatens your ability to do that. It creates unknowns for you.
My freedom.
Yeah, your freedom. Okay, all right.
I would say no, because I don't want to be watched over by machines of loving grace. I believe in the mysticism of my own life and the mathematical mysticism that who I meet at when is who I'm supposed to meet at those times. And I feel like the algorithm wouldn't have that esoteric knowledge.
So you're worried that the algorithm is not comprehensive enough to include the variables of reality, that you understand the world, and that would create a deficit in your lived experience.
Yeah.
When I first said yes, I was like, okay, well, that's good because I'm going to have an experiment, but then I can opt out when I want to.
Right.
If it's not working for me.
Right. But it's not. We have to opt in forever.
Yeah, they're opting in forever.
What we're signing up for, this is a forever thing.
They're opting in forever. It feels so final.
It's too late, ladies. You
But if there's spirit, if I'm going to be I'm going to be the most spiritually happy. Maybe I find out that surfing isn't what brings my heart pure joy, but it leads me into something else that I never knew about.
This is why I want to be able to start and stop it.
So with that new knowledge, Miranda, you're thinking it's not a clean yes, it's maybe more complicated?
It's a little more complicated because I'd love to be able to have a little fun every now and then.
Leave some room for some spontaneity and just that balance. You touched on it, and Brett as well, is just that balancing the health span and lifespan. Yes, live a perfect life wherever, but also enjoying that along the way too, is finding that moderation and that balance. So.
Because maybe there's more moments of joy that come from things that might not be part of the program.
I had this immediate visceral reaction, which was no. And I think it's, I have an issue with authority that has served me well and not well over the course of my life. So just the thought of something telling me what to do, I don't think I could ever opt into that. And I think when I double-clicked into that, I think there's I think the high highs and the low lows are a part of the human existence. And maybe my algorithm would do that for me already, but there's this sense of I don't know, just like free will and just choice of like, I want to make my own bad decisions that I think ties to my happiness, that it would be hard for me to let go of.
And enjoying that range of,
Yeah.
you know, having those lows, like you said, of, you know, let's say that life is on a scale of 1 to 10, and you experience these 1s and 2s. Also, when you experience these 8s and 9s, those 8s and 9s are that much better. And you also feel those 1s and 2s that much more. But if you only live range bound in let's say a 4 to 6, then it might not be as enjoyable or meaningful or purposeful. So
There's also a lot of learning in the mistakes that I've made. And a lot of my growth, personal growth, but also even in the art form that I'm involved in, happen in mistakes. I don't know if I want to live a perfect life. I want to be super healthy though, by the way. I just don't know if I want to live a perfect life.
I'm like a big rule follower, so I love to have like the rules, and then I'm like, okay, but then maybe I'll have a night off tonight. But like maybe knowing who I am, I would really enjoy it and be like, oh, then I'm really super happy doing that, following those rules.
The thing from this is you say yes to the algorithm. If you say yes, you say, you guys, this is the best I have ever felt mentally and spiritually and physically. Never felt better.